Well, here we go, folks. We're going to call this part 2 in the defense of Hannah Reid. I've had a lot of comments about the first video with me defending her. So I'm going to cover a lot of subjects on that particular movie set, Rust. So be patient. I'll try to go along with it the best I can. But first of all, I got to explain to you. In this video, I am the actor, I am the director, and I am the producer. So, when it comes to these things, I'm the one responsible. They are unloaded, of course. I mean, why would I sit here and demonstrate a loaded gun? So, I'm acting in those three capacities for a reason. I'll put it down, I don't need it. So I'll start covering some of these issues. 1, it was a cheap production movie. Real cheap. Cast and crew mostly were secondhand, cast and crew. Baldwin was the lead paid actor. He was also the producer. And he was considered, with movies and years, he has quite a bit of experience with weapons. Halls, number 2 rated assistant director. Limited experience. Then we get to Sousa, the director. How did he get that job? Was he experienced as a director? Or did he get the job because he and Baldwin wrote the script, and so was he put in the job to draw a good salary? Good question. Now we get to the 2, and I call them incidents, not accidents, that happened with the discharging of blank rounds. 1, well, first of all, I'll get to the point. They can't be called accidents because accidents involve property, humans, or animals being hurt. None of that happened, so they were incidents. One involves Sarah, the prop supervisor. Also, another Hannah's boss. Sarah discharged a blank. No damage. And number 2, most likely was caused by an actor. Discharged a blank also, no damage. This firing of blanks has been happening in movies ever since they started movies with guns. They just never get reported because there's no damage. Most normally, in the old movies, a lot of this was overlooked. If a gun was pointed toward the ground when he's supposed to be shooting at a person 15 feet in front of you, or if it was pointed up in the air. Well, in the old days, a lot of the movies, they would never cut and retake that. Same as if a lot of you people out there watching old movies, you know, a 6-shooter can shoot 10 or 12, 15 times without reloading. that was the old days. Nowadays, they're trying to get things more as accurately as possible. And in teaching, that gun has to be pointed toward a human body, for example, if that's who you're supposed to be shooting at. You don't want it pointing to the ground or up in the air. You know, it just doesn't look good. Anyway, let's get to the point of the problems. There was a lot of armorers that had refused the job. They probably refused the job for two reasons: pay, a cheap budget film, and having to do two jobs. Most armorers and gun coaches, as we called them back in my day, was gun coaches, have one job only. And that's to teach people how to handle firearms properly and realistically. Now, there's been a lot of armorers that they've interviewed with the news and stuff like that, some dude with 30 years experience. All the things he was talking about is what an armorer is allowed to do in a darn well organized, managed movie. One job, and everybody's instructed to follow that armorer's advice and teaching. And believe me, the Rust movie set was not based on those standards. Period. Okay, people walking off the job. 5 or 6, I recall. Most of their issue was the pay situation, the hotel situation, the food situation, and the 2 discharges of the blank weapon. They were an afterthought or down the ladder. They weren't the primary causes. And like I say, standards in the industry are good if they are followed. To follow those standards, it's in the hands of the, well, let's say producer and primarily his directors. If they, those 3, in this case, refuse to follow those standards, make up their own rules of how to manage the situation, I mean, who else can you blame, okay? Okay, I got a few